Welcome to the September edition of the Disability Ministry Video Roundtable. And because it's September, let's talk about Christmas now. Let's talk about fall and winter events in our ministries. And this is kind of a wide topic. We can talk about all the things, but let's help each other think through outreach events, events that your church does that maybe brings in the community. What are some things that we need to think through to make our events accessible and welcoming? So I don't really have like an agenda here. I really just want to hear, what people have to say, what ideas you have, what questions you have. So would anybody, and my name is Beth from Key Ministry, and my colleague Lara from Key Ministry is on here as well. And just welcome to our new folks and our returning folks. This is really exciting to see some of the people that are jumping on. We got to see some of you in person in Cleveland this past week when we had our Disability and the Church tour stop. So this is really exciting. All right, who would like to start us off? Either with an event idea or a question or whatever.
So I have a question.
Yes. Hi, Mike. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So we do at Christmas time, it's called Adventure. And so everybody comes in and we do the Advent Christmas scene and everything. So everybody comes in, watches the play, that sort of thing. Then they go outside and we have the inflatables. I mean, just everything. So we invite the community to come in. So this year we just started our special needs program, and we want to invite the community, anyone with any kind of special need, to come in. So like we're doing an hour beforehand that is just going to be designated for those, and then they'll be able to go out earlier. So with all of that, my question is, when you are advertising for the community to come in, how do you advertise that? What words do you say to let them know we're doing this for you? That's where I'm at.
I love this. I think this is like the perfect question to get us started. And Mike, you're in Florida, right? No, you're in
South Carolina.
South Carolina. I just remember you're down south because when you talk about you have inflatables, I'm like, yeah, well, we will not have inflatables here in Ohio in December. No, this is perfect. And this is so important. So this is about like, what language do we use? How do we get the word out? How do you describe that this is an event? Like, who are you looking for to come to this event? So who would like to kick us off with some thoughts with Mike's question? Because I think this is a perfect one for what we're doing today. Anyone?
Mike, one thought that comes to mind is somehow creating a early access event and using those terms and somehow creating it almost like a VIP registration early access event for those who would need extra help or extra time to enjoy the event, something like that.
I like that, the early access, extra help or extra time or extra support. I like that. Thank you, Don. Amy.
So we're doing something new this fall for, we're joining forces with our kids ministry and women's ministry. And so we're doing a littles event, including the special needs, where we're bringing Outback raised safari animals, but we're sending it out early to our past breed guests and saying, this is what we're joining forces with our kids. We'll make sure that you have buddies, but if you register ahead of time, we'll make sure that we have buddies for those that need buddies. And then the women's ministry is doing a mom's night at the same time. So we're paying for moms to go to that and have dinner.
Nice. Wow. Okay. So the event that you are planning, so first of all, it's a cross ministry event, which I love. I'm all about like, let's collaborate with our ministries. So yours, there is a registration involved.
Yes.
Because this is childcare, right?
For those with special needs that need, the little ones that need a buddy, there will be.
Okay.
They'll have some volunteers for kids for the rest of them, and they're expecting maybe 100. So I want to make sure that our families get invited ahead
Yeah.
of time and say, like, here's the block. Let's get you guys registered so that you can attend.
Okay, I love it. So the invitation goes out to all, but with early and hey, if you register, we can provide you with a buddy.
Yes.
And so you were saying those words like we can provide this extra support.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. Okay, wait, I had one more thing to say about that.
And then our older kids and adults will have a movie night of their own. So we'll have concessions and pizza, and they'll be in their own wings. So there'll be 2 separate events, but kind of the same, like respite.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So like age appropriate respite events at the same time. Okay. So this is obviously a huge volunteer push for your congregation, I'm guessing.
I guess it can be. I don't expect it to be huge because not everybody's going to need a buddy. We'll just have volunteers overseeing the room. And we found with our adults that we don't need a lot of buddies for a movie night. Just some people sit in the theater, the room with them while they watch a movie and eat candy and hang out.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just out of curiosity, do you know what movie you're going to show? Because that's always a question. What movie can we
I'm thinking Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it's free on Disney. It's brand new. And so I don't think everybody's seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. Let's hear from Christy has her hand up.
Right. Thanks. I'm sorry, I'm in the car, but my car is stopped now, so you don't have to.
Good. Safety first.
Just a couple of comments as far as wording for the upcoming adventure event. I think sensory friendly is a really inclusive way to express what you're trying to do, rather than say this is for our special needs community, which personally I don't like. But I think sensory friendly really opens it up, and to say that there's going to be time ahead of time. Please let us know, what some of the things that we can do to help. If you need access to certain things, or if you need extra time to visit some of these things, or it's going to be a little bit quieter for those friends who, don't like all the commotion and all of that. So that was on that note. And one note to the super fun event coming up with the buddies and everything. Have you considered those who will need help with bathrooming and hygiene? Buddies are great. But if you're actually doing caretaking and the moms are going out, is that something like, will the children need to be potty trained? Just a couple thoughts.
Yeah.
We always have nurses on site. Like I always make sure there's 2 nurses available. So try and cover
that. Amy's church does this type of, not necessarily the cross ministry thing, but you do respite and other events.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So Christy, so thank you for the question for Amy. And also, sensory friendly was where I was going as well. That was my thought as well, because that term kind of implies, like it gives it gives you a sense of the type of environment you're trying to create, and the type of like it opens, like when people hear sensory friendly, they might identify, okay, that's meeting the needs of my family. Yeah. So thank you for that. I am going to call on Tony. He's trying to put his hand up. So I'm going to call on Tony, and then I will call on Julie. Tony, what's up?
Okay. We done this before, although we didn't do it around Christmas or the holidays, but we went to a food bank and we helped load trucks with food that they delivered to people in need, and it's probably for older students. And the students loved it, and we had fun, and they just basically loaded food on the trucks, and they could probably do a little bit more than that, but that was what they did. And it was,
I love this, Tony. Thank you for this idea. So instead of just like hey, here's, we want to serve you with this event type of thing, this is like, hey, let's go serve others. So
Right.
we're arranging with a local food bank. And I love that idea.
And I don't think you'd have trouble getting inclusivity with students, family, maybe with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, other church members. I would think it would be something that you'd have enough interest to make an impact.
Yeah, interesting. So did you provide like buddies to come alongside each of your participants, or did it kind of just work naturally, like those that needed support had support?
We didn't the people that came or that were participants didn't really need
On
support.
tour to churches.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
I love it. I wrote down this. We will be putting out ideas from this after today's recording. So I'm jotting that one down. Julie Meekins.
I would caution y'all when you're training your volunteers to mention that we are not judging when people come in, whether they qualify for sensory friendly or whatever else wording that we give. We've run into that some. And so we are very sensitive about that now, and just help everybody understand they get to determine if they think they're sensory friendly. And if they come in, we're going to love them just like we love everybody else, and whether we think that they belong there or not, because that's not for us to judge. So that was one thing I wanted to mention.
That's a really
good one. The other thing is our events that we do separate from the big events, like we have a big Halloween thing, or we don't call it Halloween, fall thing. And then we have a big Christmas thing. Well, actually, that's just the production that we do. But
it's a huge Christmas thing. Don't undersell that. Their church does a huge Christmas thing.
Broadway production is what it is, really. But then we have the director is a professor at Liberty University in the whole communications deal. So she knows what she's doing, and she does it very well. But what I wanted to say is that we do separate events for our special needs. And this is an outreach to the community for our special needs families. And this is the way it works. You come in, and because it's a big church, we have opportunity to use 2 gyms on the same level. And so one of the gyms is for inflatables, but it's inside because it's too cold around here too. So to do inflatables outside. So there's inflatables, and then in another gym, actually it's 3 gyms when you think about it. Yeah, and then the other half of the gym is we have a train. We are so blessed. We have a train, and the kids can do train rides. So that's the gym for the train rides. And it is set up like a whole train station. It is the coolest thing ever. And then another gym is for the story. We have to get the gospel across, right? So we always have a story place, and it's kind of required to go through the story place before you can do certain other things, as best as we can corral that. So that has been a real gift to the community, and the families get to decide whether they want a buddy to go with their kids and they don't come in, or they want to come in, because some families don't feel comfortable just dropping off their children, especially if they don't know us that well. So we have both opportunities available to them. And it is a really special time for the families.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, I'm trying not to be super jealous that your church not only has 1 gym, not only has 2 gyms, but has 3 gyms, but I'll get past that. So I love, and you just mentioned something so important, and we probably should have started the Zoom with this, but kind of the whole point is to get the gospel across. Like, we need to keep that in mind as we plan our events. And so I love how you've worked that into your event. So it sounds like they have to physically walk through or roll through a story place. And I also love that you give families the option of, like the parents or caregivers can come through, or it can be more of a drop off with your buddy type thing. So thank you. And, regardless of the size of your church, and, if you have a gym or you don't have it, like, these are still concepts that we can apply to whatever our church context is. So thank you. All right, I'm going to call on Susanna. And I'm trying to find, so Susanna, if you can unmute yourself, please.
Okay,
There we go.
I'm here. I don't know how to do this on my phone very well.
That's
And
okay.
so
We
I'm
can hear
trying.
you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay. So I'm actually in the middle of getting ready for our big event on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've I try to plan them when the rest of the community isn't doing things. So, all the fall stuff is coming up pretty quick. So we've, we're taking this Saturday to do ours, and we've done different themes. It's a family social. So the whole family comes,
Okay.
siblings, parents, I try to make it for all ages. Our church has a indoor plaza with an indoor playground.
Oh, nice.
So that takes care of, especially the younger ones. We put out a rug with some mega blocks for even like the babies.
Mhm.
And then we kind of go with the theme, whatever it is. This year it's superhero and princess theme.
Okay.
So we serve food, whether it be like pizza or hot dogs or hamburgers, and it's free. They were supposed to register and everything ahead of time, so we have an idea. But and then we do, things surrounding whatever the theme is. So there, we have two classes now at church. So we've got like a elementary teen kind of class, and then a preschool class. So the preschool director is heading up like face painting and hair glitter, and I don't know. She's got. I'm a boy mom, 3 boys. we don't do that kind of stuff at my house. So she's kind of headed that. Yeah, she's kind of heading that up. And then we've some, games and activities. We have a bow and arrow, so it'll be like green arrow, bow and arrow station activity or whatever. That sort of thing. And then there's outside space, and probably 2/3 of the events inside. So if it rains, we're still okay. Or if it's like 95 degrees, because we're in Florida, so we never know.
Yeah.
But we have like a nice like lawn area, and we just put out just like hula hoops and big balls that they can throw around, bubbles. Because it's a superhero theme, we've got some like foam swords they can sword fight or whatever. And then we have a room off of that plaza area, and that becomes kind of a sensory room where it's a little quieter. And we do coloring sheets. I actually found superhero and princess coloring sheets that are, have Bible verses on it, and all of that. We're going to do a table this year and have our curriculum out there. So we just started using all in winter curriculum in August. And so we're going to, have some of those books out there, and even some of the activities that the kids can kind of interact with. And we've got one of our really awesome preschool leaders that'll be there at that table and can, talk with the kids as far as, Bible stories, gospels concerned. And then also hopefully engage the parents if they don't have a church home. I mean, some of our families that already come will be there, but we took flyers to the school, public schools, a couple of them nearby.
Okay.
And so some have been registering. We ask how they found out about the event. So that kind of shows us if it's worth it, if we're not getting anybody from.
So Susanna, how do you ask? Is there a registration for this?
Yes, there is.
Okay. So on the registration, you asked, how did you hear about it?
We do, yeah. So we ask for the number in their party. We ask how many people will need a gluten-free meal.
Okay.
We ask how they heard about it. Some will be from Facebook. Some a friend invited them. Some, they'll put Crystal Springs Elementary School, different things like that. But I was interested in this conversation in particular because y'all were talking about follow-up afterwards, and that's where I would like to be stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
Is the follow-up afterwards. But
okay, so wait, let me I have so many things to say. What is your event called? Like, what do you bill this as?
I guess it's a family social. I guess
Family
that's
social,
kind.
okay.
Yeah, and we try to do these twice a year, usually
Okay.
September and February.
Okay.
And we just do different themes. We did a kind of Valentine's theme and had Valentine's bingo one year. We did a carnival theme. So we kind of build it around the theme, whatever we choose for
Okay.
that particular one.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that this is called a family social, that it's for the whole family, so including siblings, kind of all ages. You have some infrastructure in place that like helps, each of these age groups have a place to play. But some things that I'm hearing that we can, you like think about for our own events. You do have a sensory room, so if anybody's feeling like a little bit overloaded, there's a
Yes.
place that they can kind of have a quieter space.
Yes.
You do a registration form, which can get at the dietary needs. You kind of get an idea of how many people are coming.
Right.
It allows you to assess how your marketing efforts are doing. So I really like that. Here's a pro tip for everybody. If you have a registration form, consider including a photo video permission in it. You can do the opt out. So in other words, it could look something like there will be a, whatever, the staff will be capturing, whatever to use for ministry purposes, however you word that, and if you don't want to be included, let a staff member know, or you could opt in. But that just, it sounds like you're going to have this super fun event, and I would hate for you to have to chase down permission afterwards if you get these super cute pictures. So that's just a little pro tip for you. I love that you are able to send flyers home at the public schools. I know not everybody has the opportunity to do that, but that is definitely worth mentioning. And you do yours around a theme. And so that is pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that, Susanna.
Addie, what do you have?
Hi, Nicole, do you have something to say? Or is that, nope, that was a fake out. Okay. All right, we have a question in the chat, so I'm going to read that. What about marketing a virtual event? Any tips? I'm going to throw out one tip, and then anybody else feel free to raise your hand or unmute. I would suggest creating a Facebook event, so that creating an actual event online that people can share it. And also a way for people to text it to each other, especially if you're trying to capture people who are going to be online, like you need to have it easily shareable online. I hope that made sense. Anybody else? Julie.
So we did, this is bringing me back to COVID days, and we couldn't be together. So we did, what are those things called?
Drive-by.
Yeah, we did that. But as far as a virtual event is concerned, we did, when you go around the room trying to find the things that somebody said.
Oh, like a scavenger hunt. Scavenger
I can say
hunt.
all the words around it, but I can't
Yes.
think of scavenger hunt. So we did a scavenger hunt, and that was the most popular thing we ever did. And the whole family got involved. So we would shout out something that they needed to find, knowing that it's in everybody's house, and then the parents would let the kids go find it. And so there were siblings involved, and the mom and dad were involved, and anybody with disabilities was involved. It was so much fun. So consider a scavenger hunt online.
I love that. So for those of you who have been part of our little group here for, well, gosh, more than 5 years now, we talk about things like that as #pandemic blessings, like things that happened because of COVID that we actually, turned out to be pretty neat. I love it. And Amy says they did that too, and it was the most fun event for Zoom. So I love that. I'm going to call on Aletha, my new friend from seeing at Cleveland at the tour stop. How are you? One more time. Still, nope, still muted. There we
Okay.
go.
Hello. So I'm Alisa. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I wanted to ask her, so in the virtual scavenger hunt, did you make some of the items like based around the gospel or a Bible story?
It was included in the greater, to be honest, we didn't really make that the focus, although that is an excellent idea. I think if we ever did it again, we would, but it's, you know, like we might say, go find a Bible or something that in the house that would represent that they are believers, but not necessarily making that the theme. But that is a really good idea. Thank you for asking that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So Rebecca is asking in the chat, also, do you get feedback and suggestions from people in the community and congregation when deciding about creating types of programs? That's an excellent question. Can anybody speak to that? Like, how are you deciding what kinds of things to do? Do we do things we've always done because we've always done them?
Sometimes it's just driving into work thinking, I think I'm going to try this, and it works. It's not usually presenting it. It's just like, oh, let's try this.
Yeah. Yeah. Tori. Hello.
Hey. Okay. I'm not sure if my video is working now. I
You're
clicked
good.
it like
Yeah,
4
I can
times.
see you and hear you.
Oh, wow, magical. So I was at a nonprofit luncheon the other day, and a church, somebody from a church was sitting across from me, and he said, our church was challenged to just find out what the needs were in the community. So we started asking people at grocery stores, and you know, when we were picking our kids up from school, or when we pick up a special coffee at Starbucks or whatever, and just say, what's your greatest need? And so I would say one of the best ways to target that is to focus on your population, right? So where are the OTs? Where are the ABA therapists, right? And go talk to the families and say, what's the most helpful thing for you? What can a church do to serve you? And see what that opens up. And that could be all kinds of wild conversations you could get into. So I just thought that was brilliant, and I can't take credit for it. I'm just going to steal it and use it in my own church.
Perfect.
But also, I'm on a planning team to put on an event that's an annual event called the Disability Resource Symposium that we co-host with a church in Grand Rapids, because I'm in Michigan. Anyway, so there's like more than half a dozen organizations, parachurch, totally secular organizations. We're all mixing together just to put this event on at a church. And the pastor there says, I really want it to be at this church because we're an all abilities church on purpose. And we want to be seen as a place at the forefront of presenting what are the needs of the disability community. So we're drawing in like representative from the Social Security Administration, you know, the state services, from ministries, from care providers, housing providers, all sorts of people from all different areas of this conversation to provide information and resources to families for totally free, and we serve them food all day while they're here. We haven't yet offered respite due to the other limitations and logistics that come in with that. But I just want to put that out there to say, like, I think that's a totally reasonable thing to do too, that it doesn't always have to just be a fun family event, that if the church could also be seen as a place where resources are gathered and we're seen as partners within the greater disability community and collaborating with service providers and other organizations who may not necessarily associate with the church otherwise, that could really propel us in the place of people knowing that we care about them and what matters to them.
Yeah, I love that. And I've been to the church. I'm guessing it's the one okay. So I've been to the church that Tori is talking about. And it's like an all abilities church. I forget what the name of it is.
City Hope GR.
Yes. Okay. I knew it had GR in it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I love that this is the church leading the way in, okay, what do families need, and creating that. And I don't think Ryan Wolf is on. We're on a couple screens now. I don't think Ryan Wolf is on this, but his church did something similar where they went out to different, organization, everything kind of related to the disability community. Okay, so everything from government agencies to therapy, like all the different things, and just said, how can we be a blessing to you, no strings attached? And so, in other words, just hearing about potential ways that the church can partner, to the benefit of the families that we serve. But I love the idea of the church leading the way, and then maybe hosting these things in our churches, and that's just a way to, just show the love of Jesus and to point people to the gospel, whether they were expecting it or not. So I love that. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm going to read two things from the chat, and then I'm going to call on Milton. So, so in answer to what Tori just said, Victoria, I've been wanting to do this for my families. Okay, and then she asked, or he or she, I can't see who it is asking to be emailed. So Tori, you can connect in the chat. And then also love this idea, and I'm a BCBA and work with individuals in the autism spectrum daily in the secular world. I'd love to bridge the gap between our church and the secular world. And you got some hearts for that, Sharon. Thank you. All right, I'm going to call on Milton. Milton, if you'd like to unmute.
Hello, can you
Hey,
hear
how are
me?
you?
I haven't got to do this yet, but I am working on a new initiative called Embrace to Empower. So it's gonna be a church service, but I'm building it differently, so there'll be breathing exercises, and it's gonna be for people with disabilities and allies and caregivers. So there'll be time to, instead of the going passing the piece, they're gonna break off into groups and actually have like a 10-minute fellowship before and after the sermon. So you get a talk back like a mini small group. So what we're trying to do is create some community for those with disabilities who don't always get that. So, and it'll be in person and virtual. If you're on Zoom, there'll be people in person that will be talking to you as well. So just a way of thinking different, and the last thing, there'll be at least one resource there. So that's one of the 100 things I'm working on.
Just one of your little initiatives that you've got going on. All right, so I love this. So Embrace to Empower. So the idea is that you're having a worship service, but with intentional fellowship time before and after. And it's, for people with disabilities, for caregivers, and just the opportunity to create community, to connect, with a time of worship as well. Did I miss it?
Yes. Can I mention one more thing real
Yeah,
quick?
absolutely.
Also, I don't know, some of you may know, we released a devotional about disability and the human experience. Well, I'm actually teaching a Bible study here in Indy at Grace Church. Athena, I'll get you the info so you can come visit. But and the conversations we're having is, they're amazing. They're really amazing. They're deeper than I thought. So yeah, things are happening.
This is, there's some good things happening in Indy. So thank you, Milton, for sharing. They are asking in the chat if you can share the link for the devotional. So
Oh yes, if you go to, I'm dropping my website in the chat.
Perfect.
It's also on Amazon, but I would prefer to ship it to you myself.
Okay, whatever the way your preferred way, please put that in the chat and we'll be sure to share that with folks. Thank you. All right, Aletha has her hand up and then I'll read from the chat.
So I just found out that Milton's from Indianapolis. So
I know, that's what I'm saying. There's stuff happening in Indy.
that's great. He was talking about the fellowship. Do you have a date for that?
No, but as soon as I do, you will have it. And
Okay,
I'm gonna call or text you today.
all
I
right,
love
thank
it.
you.
This is networking in action, people. I love it. All right, so in the chat, Israel says, I believe one of the ways to serve the community is by providing resources such as noise canceling headphones and augmentative communication tools, as well as professional support, like a social event, bringing the idea that the church is also a place of learning and welcoming. Yeah, so just as we think, as our churches think through all of the events that are happening during Advent, fall, even if we aren't designing events specifically for like the disability community or whatever, however you name, like if you have a special needs ministry or whatever, that our churches are thinking through how we can make our church-wide events more inclusive, creating like maybe sensory spaces, providing headphones, and just things like that that can make it more accessible for every member of the body of Christ across the board. So I think in the chat, I think it's Milton's thing, I think should be advocatesembassy.com. There might be a typo in there. So let's check that. And then I'm going to go to Leanna and then Aletha. Leanna.
Hey, so kind of, I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this, piggybacking off of Amy and also Tom and Julie's events. We, I feel like, as the body, we often kind of gear these respite and quiet rooms, and even the like children watching a video during like a service time and those kinds of things. How are y'all? I mean, collectively, we have an individual who has definitely aged out of the children's ministry, yes, but they absolutely are the most comfortable, and their parents are the most comfortable with them being part of the children's ministry, and so I'm trying to break some barriers. But we've kind of hit a little bit of a wall with we've hit a wall. And so we're just trying to figure out how to make sure that everyone is comfortable having an older individual participate with the children. And we've gone as far as saying, well, they can be a helper and this is how they can help. But they are not comfortable being a helper and they need to just be a participant. And so how do you break that barrier with not with the families, but with your staff and your admin and your parents of younger children, and proving that they belong there?
All right, who would like to speak into this? Julie, I saw you nodding, so I thought you might.
Yes, because we have run into this as well. And so the way that we handle it is we try to pair up the older children, and that could be, so middle school, high school, teen. So you got the teens in there and adults, but they have the disability that fits in the children's ministry. We try to pair them together and then the littles together. And so we have one room that they mostly stay in, but we have them in the room at different times. So the littles will go out and maybe do the music with the rest of the congregation kids. And so they go to, so that inclusive environment where they just kind of visit there and they do the music thing with them. And then the older people are in the room, and then we switch them out again, and we find some place for, we also have an indoor playground. So we will often use the playground as that space that divides them, because we are landlocked. As big as our church is, we're landlocked in every department. So, and that's a good problem, but it's a problem. So we have to be very creative about who's in the room. And especially, and sometimes it's even, they're all the same basic age, but two kids don't get along. So we have to kind of separate those two kids and figure out creative ways of them to be in a different part of the building for certain. So we schedule that out, and that works the best. That's the best solution that we have found.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there are some activities that, regardless of age, they're able to do safely and well together, like the worship time. But then there's other times where the littles are not, or the older kids are not with the littles. Yes, I'm kind of with you on that, Julie. Just from a safety perspective, like little bodies and large bodies, it's just better if they're, I would say that as well. But I know everybody does things a little bit differently. Aletha, do you want to speak into this? No. Okay. Hang on that thought for 1 second then. Does anybody else want to talk into what do you do when someone kind of ages out, but it seems like that's where they most want to be? Al, I'm raising your hand for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I volunteer with a group that we do events for adults, respite with disabilities, and we work under Ability Tree, the national organization. We're the New Jersey branch. We did a really cool carnival party this past Friday with all sorts of games and things like that. And we're kind of learning by doing. We had a lot of new volunteers actually, which was awesome. And so we try to do every other month. We do an event basically for 3 hours. It's based upon the theme of like whatever season of the year it is, that's what we do. So we try to follow the seasons and things like that. But they love doing it. The parents love having this as well. So we can screw up sometimes, but they're happy to have something, and we're getting better at it too. So and we always have to improvise, wing things. We had great plans, which we had to can pretty quickly for keeping one-on-ones and things like that, but it worked out. So we're learning, and hopefully this will help the Assemblies of God in New Jersey denomination as well through what we're doing.
That's great. That's great. So, yeah, sometimes our best laid plans don't go according to how we planned, and it's important that we can make the plans, but able to roll with it as well. Thank you. So yes, so in the chat, a participant is sharing that the question we had about, what do you do when the child ages out? She's dealing with that personally right now with her son. Yeah, it's hard. And this is one of those things, like, it just doesn't feel so black and white at times, like you hit this age and you move to the next room or whatever. Yes, so the question is being asked, what would serve your family best in this case, especially if the son is the only one who needs that kind of support. Like, it's not like there's lots of other kids in that same situation. And the suggestion is, can a plan be created with the family and the leaders where the transition happens gradually? I think that's a great idea as well. Like, I see this as one of those, I don't know. I feel like a lot of, especially for those of us who are involved in like Sunday morning kind of Sunday school stuff, in a lot of ways, it's very individual, like decisions are very individual based on the individual, not necessarily like, okay, when you're this age, you do this. So yeah. And Al shared that his respite for adult groups was created because of people aging out of high school and college ministries like Young Life Capernaum. Yeah. And, you know, yeah, people age out. That's like, that's what happens. And that's why a lot of your churches have established adult ministries, because you had, you know, fabulous kids ministry things. And yeah, and then kids grow up. All right, I'm going to call on Aletha and then Amy.
So my question was, well, to respond to that, are there any age appropriate peers at the church that can be friends with him? Like, you know, like best buddies, like the best buddies in church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
You know?
that's a good suggestion.
And yeah. So I don't know if we're on the next subject, but yeah, that was my thought.
Go ahead and go ahead and ask your question, and then Amy will get to you, and yours can either be a follow-up or whatever, or a new question. So go ahead, Aletha.
So I do have a foundation. It's called the H2 Foundation, and I am getting ready because we don't have a lot, in my opinion, we don't have a lot of special needs ministries here in Indianapolis. And I wanted to donate 2 sensory bags to churches for them to just have, and then they'll have our information in there. Does anybody have any good suggestion on headphones? Like, I'm gonna put like 1 headphone in each of them. Does anybody know of any, you know, good brands of headphones, noise canceling headphones? Should they be really expensive?
I don't know that this is necessarily like, I'm not recommending them necessarily, but I literally just received like a 4-pack from Amazon. Like they arrived today.
They're really generic. I mean, I shouldn't say generic.
Just, I mean, they're so generic, they don't even have a brand on them, but
okay. Is there a link?
Supposedly they're adult size, although these look, oh no, they get bigger. So supposedly these are adult size, and they were pretty like they didn't cost a ton. But it was a 4-pack for like maybe $30 or something.
Are they noise canceling?
Like if you I put in the search, I put in headphones bulk because I wanted to buy more than one.
Headphones,
autism
bulk.
I put in autism adult, and that's adult. What I got. So,
and you think they will fit a child or no?
I mean, I think it depends on how big the child is. I mean, we already have a bunch of kids size. Oh, Al's modeling as well.
You already have 2 sizes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if anybody has suggestions, throw them in the chat. Like I said, I can't recommend these because we haven't used them yet, but yeah. Okay. I'm reading from the chat. In my experience, buying the cheaper ones is better because they do break often due to use. Yes, we've had some break, which is why I'm buying new ones. They are not noise canceling, but they are noise dampening. The noise canceling ones are pretty expensive. Yeah. So yes, these are noise dampening. Okay. All right. I'm going to call on Amy, and then we'll go back to the chat.
I was just going to say the follow-up on the questions of when they age out. Like for our church, we have got a special needs sensory classroom for those that can't be with their peers. And up till like 5th grade, they can be in that room. We're going to keep them in there. If they can be with their peers, we're going to do it for as long as we can do it. But I have found like right about middle school and high school is when they either can regulate themselves and be with their peers, or they can't. And we've been fortunate enough to create a classroom and an area for teens and adults for them to be able to go in and kind of have the same experience of Sunday school class and all of that. Like I write the curriculum, they've got video, so we're making sure that they're seeing the video, they're reading it, they're hearing worship songs. So we've been very blessed to see that grow over multiple years. But when you said that about Young Life, again, it was another like aha moment. So our kids aged out of Capernaum, and I wasn't going to ask my friends to leave. So I spent a summer going, what am I going to do? And came up with Anchored. So we launched in the fall 23 and older, and there'll be no age limit. And we're going to do the exact same thing that Capernaum does, but just on another level.
Yeah, filling the gap. I love it. And, you know, something Amy said, and those of you who know me will, you know, you've heard me say this before, but we want the student to be where they can best learn about Jesus. And so it's not necessarily you're always in this environment or you're always in this environment, but like, let's figure out what that environment is where they can learn about Jesus. So, all right, Sylvia. Thank you, Amy. Sylvia.
I am agreeing with Amy. About 2-3 years ago, I guess, maybe longer than that, we noticed again that some of our participants were aging out. So that's when we started separating them. We have 3 classes actually now, children, youth and young adults, and adults. And parents can bring them whatever time they come to church. The youth and young adults usually come at like our 10 o'clock service, and the adults come at 12 o'clock service, but they overlap. We are now also at the point where we have to start another class because the children are now getting older, but do not fit into the youth and young adult class, again, because of their abilities. And we try to place them in the least restrictive environment, that if parents choose to take them to church, the church service with them, sometimes they just like to go in for the praise and worship time, and they come into the Sunday school class afterwards. So what's happening with our younger, because I'm getting younger kids now that are 3 and 4, like the 3-year-olds I like to keep in with their typically developing peers. But by the time they turn 4, and we may have a 12-year-old in that same group, I'm trying to divide them, and we put them into a room where we're able to pair the lesson, stream the lesson from one classroom to the next classroom, so that those older, developmentally lower functioning participants can can be in the same lesson at the same time and be incorporated into what's going on with them.
Yeah, so Sylvia is doing an excellent job of really looking at every single individual and their unique needs and their strengths, and you know, what environment works best. So again, it's not so black and white. Thank you, Sylvia, for sharing. All right, we're getting pretty close. I'm going to call on Milton, and then we're getting pretty close to the end of our time. What's up, Milton?
Is anyone doing this work in a church under 100 people?
Oh, yes. Do we have any small churches out here that would like to speak up?
Because I serve a very large church with a very robust disability ministry. And I serve a church of about 200 with no ministry at all, where I am the one that has to start one soon. So I'm trying to, and I want to be able to teach smaller churches.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone doing it?
So Aletha raised her hand. You know, and sometimes, honestly, sometimes the smaller churches are just doing it. Like, you know, like we don't have to say like, oh, we're creating a disability ministry, because you're just doing it. And yeah, Tori's nodding her head on that one. Yeah, so I think that would be like an excellent networking opportunity at a future Disability in the Church conference. Like, let's, you know, get some smaller churches together to talk about, you know, what this looks like in their context, for sure. All right, I'm gonna call it, because we're hitting that 1 hour. So I just want to thank everybody today. I pictured we were going to be talking about like, Christmas Eve services and all that. But I think what we talked about today was just really helpful. It gave me a lot of things to think about. So in the next week or two, you will get an email from us that will kind of summarize some of these things and put it in a way that you can share with your church leaders. And let's see, Lara, is there anything else we want to talk to people about? No. Yeah, go to keyministry.org/events because we do have dates for Disability in the Church 2026. Yes, and Tori is reminding us to get the gospel across. Yes, that's a good reminder to all of us, and thank you all for participating in that. Our idea shares are going to be back. We kind of took the summer off, but the first Monday of each month, we are going to be back with idea share. So again, keyministry.org/events. Thank you to everybody who participated today. We had Brazil in the house. We had London in the house, and just a lot of you. So thank you so much, and we will see you next time.